Welcome to one of the many resources available to you from the Tutoring and Learning Center at George Brown College. One of the key skills to success in college is note-taking. Taking effective notes during class is extremely important because what your professor says will be on the exam. Also, having good notes will make studying for exams way less stressful. Many students go to their first class, open their notebook or laptop, but then quickly realize that they don't know how to take proper notes. We at the Tutoring and Learning Center want you to avoid this experience. So over the next few minutes, you're going to learn some note-taking tips and systems to help you succeed in your classes. First, you need to decide whether to write your notes on paper or type them on a computer. Students, professors, and scientists have debated which is better for a long time, but there is no clear winner. What's important is that you consider the advantages and disadvantages of each before making the choice that works for you. First, let's consider writing by hand. Some advantages. Some research shows that this method leads to a better recall of information. Because students do not have time to write down everything the professor says, they need to consider what points to note down and quickly rephrase points in their own words. Going through this process helps to remember their notes in the future. Using a pen and paper is also faster for subjects that require drawing diagrams or writing equations. Similarly, writing notes by hand offers greater flexibility. You can easily circle, draw arrows, add symbols, and add other information in the margins much more easily. Now let's look at some disadvantages. You may miss some important points because you can't write fast enough, or while your brain is trying to figure out or process what the teacher is saying or how to phrase one point, you may miss the next one that your teacher says. That can sometimes make it hard to trust that you have reliable notes. Okay, so we've considered handwriting your notes. Now let's look at typing your notes. Some advantages. Since most people type faster than they write, typing allows people to note down more details. Digital notes are also easier to edit and to fix. And finally, you are less likely to lose your notes, especially if you back them up. But what about some disadvantages? A drawback of typing is that students are likely to type everything said word for word without processing the content as much. According to several studies, this lessens the recall ability, but this can be prevented by committing to review your notes after class. Also, when using a laptop, students may be distracted by applications such as social media, YouTube, or games, and pay way less attention in class. Finally, it's really hard to draw diagrams or write equations in a Word document. Now that you've decided whether you're going to handwrite your notes or type your notes, let's go over some tips for effective note-taking. First off, try to get to class early and sit where you'll easily see and hear the teacher and not be distracted by your classmates. Sitting up or near the front is usually the best option. Next, don't write down everything. Otherwise, it may be hard to distinguish what is important. Only note down main and supporting points, important details, and examples. Also, make important points more visible by drawing circles, boxes, stars, underlining, or highlighting. Third, to save time, do not write in full sentences. This is especially necessary when taking notes by hand. Instead, eliminate small connecting words and pronouns and use symbols and abbreviations. You can also shorten longer words like appropriate or drop internal vowels of words to save time. It's also important to leave lots of white space between main points so that you can easily add points later if you have to. Another tip is to place question marks next to points you don't understand. Ask your teacher to clarify during class if possible. If not, try to ask them before they leave after class. Finally, immediately after class, review your notes while the class is still fresh in your mind and clarify, add to, or rewrite points which you feel could be confusing to read in the future. Now let's go over a couple of effective note-taking systems. Let's start with the outline method. This is one of the most popular methods used by college students. It's because it's a simple system that comes pretty naturally to most people. You start by writing a main topic, And then if there is a subtopic related to that idea, you write this point below and indent it. Then, if you have another supporting point or example, you write that point below and indent it further. In addition to indentations, you can use bullets or numbers to further distinguish your points. That's all there is to it. Another common method is the Cornell method. All you need to do is divide your paper into 3 sections: notes, cues, and summary. The notes section is for the notes you take during class. You can use the previously mentioned outline method to structure your notes in this section. The cues section can be filled out during or after class. In this section, you write keywords, phrases, or potential test questions that pertain to your notes. This section can be used when studying for tests and exams. For example, you can cover the notes column and use your cues to trigger your memory. Out loud, say as much as you can remember for each cue. Then uncover your notes column to see if what you said matches with your notes. Finally, soon after class, summarize the whole lecture in the summary section. In addition to your cues, your summary will also be helpful when studying for assessments. We hope that you can take these tips and strategies and apply them in your future classes. For more help with note-taking or other academic skills, visit the TLC website. We provide support for English, math, accounting, and study skills. So come and check us out and see how we can help you in your success at George Brown College.